Hello and welcome back to Richard's Random Reviews, and in this episode we're just going to do a bit of a maintenance on this kerosene paraffin heater, and I'm going to show you how to take it apart to just clean the wick and to show you the problem with this middle heating element. So there's some screws, there's 3 screws, now I'm going to put these somewhere so I don't lose them. You know when you take something apart and then you lose the screws. I've got to put them on them scales. So there's 3 screws that keep this whole top on. Put them safely on there. This top comes off. Now that does get a bit sooty underneath if you have a flame burning, you know, when you first light it. So I always give that a wash while I'm taking things apart. So now the screws are out, this will just lift completely off like that. And to be honest, it doesn't get too bad on that top, but I will give it a bit of a wipe round. So this is the main heating element we've got here. And I mentioned these pins before. I'll just bring the camera a bit closer. So I've got these pins here. Now, you can't get to them because of this cage, but these pins here come out just through you moving it around, not even moving it, you know, much, just moving it around. These pins will move, which affects all this middle part of this heating element. So you have to push them through and push. See, that one isn't lined up. There it is now. So I don't take these insides of the heating element out very often. In fact, I try not to, because you've got to get these pins back through, and it is like something from the Krypton factor, if you remember that, trying to get these pins through. And I think it's just, this is one of the niggles I've got with this. There should be a nut to put on there to stop these pins dropping out. They can just drop out and the whole middle all goes skoo whiff. Now, with this top part, when I first got it, this top part seemed to shrink and move around a bit. So it's okay though, it's sort of pushed back into place. So with that, again, I'll give that a bit of a wipe underneath. Now, the wick. Let's have a look at the wick. So the wick, obviously, there's still a bit of life left in the wick. It's only been in 6-7 weeks now. I take this little brush and I just give it a brush through like this, and it just loosens any of the carbon that's got built up. I do this probably because I use this kerosene burner daily, and I do this sort of once a fortnight. The wick should feel nice, sort of, you know, soft, a bit like a brush. It shouldn't feel like a congealed, you know, mess. So give it a brush and just all around the top, like this. Get any loose bits of carbon off. I think the wick is okay for the time being. I don't think it's ready to be replaced, although I have been using it pretty regularly. But no, there's still a bit of life on that wick. I have got 6, I think I've got 5 more wicks to put in it, and I'm not going to put one in just yet. There's still some life in that. So I give this a good brush through. Don't be too rough that you're going to break the wick. But you're just getting off all the hard bits of carbon that have sort of blackened up over the time you've been using it. And it lights better, it burns cleaner, and it's just a lot better cleaning the wick up like that. Probably somewhere somebody's going to tell me I'm doing this completely wrong and I'm damaging the wick or something, but this is what I've been doing, you know, since I've had it. Then I just take a cloth, and it's slightly damp, and it just gets off any bits. So while I've got it apart, I'll wet the cloth. And I will just give this a bit of a wipe. See how easily that comes off. It just gets the built up carbon off the bottom. Have a wipe round there. It just keeps things clean, especially when I've been using the heater every day. So all the pins are now back to where they should be. There's one there, and you see one comes through there and one comes through there, but they can so easily move. So when you've got that on there and you're just adjusting, they will move and try to come out. And if they do, the insides of this heating element will drop. Sorry if there's any noise, it's the boiler coming on through having the hot tap on. So I'll just give the rest a bit of a clean up. Then again, same with this top. I shall just give it a bit of a wipe. There's nothing much, to be honest. It probably doesn't even make much difference doing this, but you sort of know it's clean yourself. Just gives it a bit of a clean up. And then the final thing, give this a bit of a clean. Now this does get sooted up, especially if you have a high flame going for a start. This will get sooted up, and I don't think it makes a lot of difference cleaning it, but again, you know it's clean, sort of good as new. It's got rid of all that. So I'll just get a cleaner cloth, and then we'll have a little clean round here. Now the carbon with this white model, the carbon, and it will stick to it, and you think, oh, that looks really sort of mucky, but by the time you get it back together, you don't really notice it. So that has cleaned that wick up. It's sort of fluffed it up again, so it doesn't feel so, you know, like it's caked up in carbon. It's still burning perfectly, and I'm not going to waste a wick by just putting one in for the sake of it. If it starts not burning correctly, you know, and there starts to be a smell or anything, then it is time to change the wick. But there's some life back on that, because it sits quite low down when it's burning. So there's a good bit of life on that wick yet. You can probably get a wick trimmer and trim some of that black off, but I just do this clean up. So to put it back together, we've cleaned all that. Before I put that down, I'll just get this other cloth and have a clean around there, just to make sure. You could get some wire wool and really go to town on that. I do have one of these sort of wiry pads. You could, if you wanted to, and possibly in summertime when you're not using it, you could really give all this a big clean up, because that is caked in stuff. You could use some of the pink stuff or something, or, you know, some abrasive cleaner to really polish that up, but it soon gets sort of mucky again. So we'll put it back together. That goes on there. Then you have to line this up. It's got up and down. Obviously that's for the knob position. So I'll just bring it a bit forward. Now with this, you have to maneuver this. You have to lift the dome up as you're putting that down because it doesn't seem to fit well. So you have to lift this middle heating element up while you're putting this cage back on. And then put the screws back on. 3 screws. I've never tightened them up with a spanner. I've just done them by hand and they're always fine. So just a little demonstration on maintenance I do usually about once a fortnight. And it just helps it to keep burning clean and you know it's clean yourself. I'm just finishing up that top a bit. Just get a towel, just dry that all clean, all tidy. So that's what I do to just do a bit of maintenance to keep it running well. It keeps the wick in good shape just with this little brush I've got. You could use a toothbrush, you could use a cloth, an old cloth, and it just gets the carbon off the wick. Puts this back together. Those pins will, see they've moved again already just by lifting it up. Those pins are the sort of worst design on that heating element. They really should have put something on the other end where these pins going through the heating element can't move. Because if they come out and the heating element inside sort of move about, it becomes a trouble to light and regulate the heat. So that is the only sort of niggle I've got with the design. So I'm about 7 weeks or so into using this now. I think, well, at the end of January, it'll be 2 months. I'm going to do a 2-month update. So I just thought I would do this little video showing you how to just do the little maintenance I do about once a fortnight, and it just keeps it ticking over. So I'm going to do future videos. I'm going to do a video. The next video I'm going to do is to see how long a tank full of paraffin kerosene lasts. And then I'm going to see how long the 5 litres lasts me. And I'm going to measure, going to count the hours and see how many hours you get burn time from one tank. Now, I think I've said this before. It's on empty at the minute, but I can't show you in the tank because it's so dark in there. But there's probably like a pint in the bottom, but with it being so spread out, it's not touching the wick and the wick's gone dry and it's run out. So the gauge, even though it's empty, it can say empty a few hours before it's actually empty. And then when it's empty, it's not actually empty. It's never empty, but it will go out. And there is probably, you know, going on a pint in the bottom that you can't reach. So I don't know, it's probably something to do with the design. So that's just a little maintenance video. Thank you for watching. More videos coming soon. Please like and subscribe. We do lots of random reviews on this channel about things around the home. I'm not sponsored in any way, so please tune in for more. And I shall say bye for now. Bye.